Lovers of WA wine all know about the Great Southern region and, of course, the Margaret River region. But here's one you may not have heard of, and it is most definitely worth exploring. Tucked behind Kalamunda in the Perth Hills is the Bickley Wine Trail. And at starting point today, there's not a grape in sight. You're right, the apple orchard is a giveaway. It's been in the hands of the Della Franca family for 75 years, and now the third generation is doing something very trendy with their fruit. They're turning their apples and pears into cider, a drink that is seriously back in fashion. Where did your nonno come from?
He came from Tirano in Italy, in northern Italy. It's about 2 k's from the Swiss border. He came here in 1922.
And so when he first bought this here block of land, did he just start planting all of his veggies and everything, or did he turn it straight into an orchard?
Yeah, when they first started, obviously it was all bush. Then when they bought the land, the first thing they had to do was clear the bush, and most of that was done by hand. So once they did that and planted fruit trees, which take about 5 years to bear, the vegetables came in just to get the income going.
And do you think he used to put a bit of the fruit aside for his own purposes, you know, perhaps to brew something up for himself?
Yeah, I think he did. He liked making wine, so I think he would have experimented with other things, and he had the odd little bottle of Grappa going sometimes.
So carrying the family baton is really quite a nice responsibility to have. But what are you doing now to make sure that this is going to be around for your children and their grandchildren?
Well, when Emily and myself came up with the idea of the cider first, and then the cider house evolved from there, we didn't realise that a destination is as important, if not more, than just the cider. And I think the way our step-by-step process along the way, and people have seen us grow up, they feel that they're part of this connection of the land and to the plate as well.
These guys are what it's all about here at Core Cider. But the orchard has become a destination in its own right. It's the perfect setting for winding down with some friends on a lovely Sunday afternoon, especially at Springfest Sundays in October. And a hot tip, the chef Dwayne has matched a beautiful menu to suit the cider list, so you can't go wrong. Just down the road, another of the new generation of producers has taken a slightly different tack. Josh Davenport's great-grandfather was an orchardist in Harvey. His dad had an orchard here in Bickley, but Josh had other ideas. And apparently a few years ago, you took your father's citrus trees out of his little farm a few valleys away. Was that a controversial move on your behalf?
It wasn't popular at the time, certainly. We pulled out the citrus orchard and we put in a vineyard. We compared this area, which is elevated and more continental and quite warm, to inland areas of Spain and Portugal. So we planted Mourvèdre and Tempranillo and Touriga Nacional and Durif, varieties we thought would do well in the heat and produce, you know, the best possible wines for the site.
So, Rachel, you've had an international wine career overseas, worked in many countries. Tell us how that's affected what you do here in the Bickley Valley.
Well, I've had the opportunity to see lots of different varieties made in lots of different ways, using lots of different techniques, and I've been able to bring that knowledge to the table here. So
I've actually noticed with your wines you tend to blend a lot of the grape varieties together. Why is that?
We do a lot of blending because we believe that, like an orchestra, you can have different instruments that sound good by themselves, but when they come together as a group, it really resonates.
It must be amazing fun sitting around the table with the different varieties and popping this one with that one, and how much do we put of this?
We look at each wine individually and see if it needs a touch more of something, if it needs the aroma lifted or the structure strengthened.
Look at that. If you haven't followed your taste buds up the Bickley Wine Trail, these are just 2 of the gems waiting to be discovered. And trust me, you'll keep on coming back.